Coming up on today's wrestling news, we have a major update on AEW's TV future.
WWE reveals Vegas plans for WrestleMania 41.
Ricky Starks on his AEW status.
And could an NXT NWA crossover actually happen? I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news.
It is the news, and we start with AEW on television in 2024 and beyond. Of course, there's all sorts of speculation at the moment. AEW are coming to the end of their existing TV deal with Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah.
And there was there's the Warner Brothers upfronts, the annual upfronts, where they sort of announced the big 4 lineups and everything else that they do in American television. Now, while AEW's future is not set to be confirmed there, as many thought, Five Select have done some really good reporting on this and the general overview of the relationship between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery as it stands. They've reported in their their recent write-up, based on sources they've spoken to that are close to the deal, that an announcement of a new deal is expected to be kept very close to the vest, and summer or fall could be the most likely announcement point. October 2024, I believe, is the expected date for the current one to end, obviously from when Dynamite launched in 2019, then got the extension, thank God, in January 2020 before the pandemic happened, and then who knows what would have occurred. The Fight for Select report goes on to add that while they're not sure where it will be announced, there is also news of a pilot for another AEW-related program on WBD that is going to be set to be announced on the social channels this week, so keep an eye out for that one. And it was described as not being a reality series, so maybe not along the lines of AEW All Access that previously aired. The report also added that the sources within WBD had added as well that they were keen to get the AEW pay-per-views on HBO Max, and lots of the conversations between AEW and WBD, I'm saying a lot of initials and letters here, are to do with the product's presence on Max going forward. Of course, there is a streaming service over there. You've got Raw moving to Netflix. It does seem like this is the next great wave of the presentation of pro wrestling on television. Previously, we've been in these monumental cable rights fees eras, but now the streamers are muscling in as well, so we'll see how all that plays out. So the report did wrap by adding that relationship is very good between AEW and WBD. The conversation at the moment appears to be around the NBA and the future of that, how that will impact things on the network. Sorry if this sounds too boring and wordy and businessy, if this isn't your cup of tea, but it does have, of course, a direct impact on all of us as fans, because AEW has smartly leveraged its future on these TV rights deals, and one would assume they're in line for a big deal when the day comes.
Yeah, it's funny this, because some of the experts that I follow on social media have been telling me the polar opposite of all this. I don't know how they've been viewing all this information, but they seem pretty confident with how this is going to go. Look, I'm kind of clueless about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think regardless of whether you're a fan of AEW or not, them getting another TV deal would be good for the business, because you need competition for WWE. I think that's arguably what's made WWE so good, is having this competition and obviously getting rid of the awful old regime. I might be stupid with this, but you and I were talking about this yesterday. The whole thing about them potentially losing the NBA, I was like, well, surely that might be beneficial for AEW, because then they'd have a big bowl of money that they could just spend on AEW instead.
And a kind of technically a live sports franchise that the WBD may then want as their tentpole brand.
And I really don't pay that much attention to ratings, because I don't understand what's good and what's not. You know, you could do 2 million on telly, but if you did a 0.15 in the demo, that's bad. Or you could do 600,000 on telly, but if you do a 0.3, I don't understand. And people just argue forever about it online of actually that's good or actually that's bad. It's just was the show good or bad for me?
I think ratings obviously are used as point scoring ammo on social media, and it tends to be why we don't talk about it too much in these videos. But this is, I think, a good example of how it ultimately does relate. A couple of years ago, when we were having conversations in 2021, Chris Jericho put it out there, we want to catch Raw, and there was a thinking, might they actually do that? A deal signed then may be different to the deal we're going to get today.
Yes.
However, AEW typically ranks very high amongst cable shows.
It's almost top 3 in it.
Yeah, wrestling has proven itself immune to the wider switch off of cable in general because of that live sports. WWE have existed in that grey area for so long, and AEW now can as well. So I'm very interested to see how this deal shakes out, like how many years it's going to be. I also love, just from a viewing standpoint, whenever these deals come around, like how the wrestling week might change. Like I'm still waiting for that big twist about like SmackDown on a Wednesday, Thursday morning Dynamite. Like just how things can shift because you assume one thing's going to be the way forever, and then Nick Khan's like, yeah, Raw 6 hours, Saturdays, get ready.
It's perfect for me right now.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Raw, best wrestling show of the week on a Tuesday. Dynamite. So you're doing like previews and reviews, and then Friday you look forward to SmackDown and Collision. I don't need any more wrestling shows, and I don't need to move days.
Will somebody please think of the podcast?
Yeah, come on, guys. I do remember the dark days of the Wednesday Night Wars when it's like, cool, get up at 3 a.m. to watch both shows. Is it?
I remember the dark mornings, put it like that.
Time for bed. Oh, time to get up again. But yeah, we'll keep you updated on that and move on to Las Vegas, baby!
Yeah!
We're going to be there, WrestleMania 41. We're staying at the Sphere. Gonna join... No, we don't. We're hoping...
It's not a hotel. We're sleeping in the seats.
We've bought it.
Will bought it on the ball.
No, there's been more revelations in terms of what WWE...
Ginger wig and massive glasses.
What WWE are planning to do for WrestleMania 41 goes down April 19th and 420 in Las Vegas.
What's that? Why is that significant?
I don't know. I'm just put it in your diary, baby.
Okay.
I'm so excited for this. If we don't go, I will sell my house so we can go.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do it anyway.
Justin Walker of
when we say live show, it's not a ticket thing. It's just because we're stood in the street screaming.
Yeah, we're just gonna be one of those guys on the strip. Justin Walker, though, of KLAS TV in Las Vegas, published a story about all the events. Apparently, they're going to be going down over WrestleMania week. Well, I was going to say week, basically.
Yeah, 5 days the world's open for now.
Yes. Oh my God. This was relayed by the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. Lisa Motley said that next year, the VP of the Sports and Special Events for the LVCVA.
Letters in the
yes. WrestleMania will host more than 300 media outlets, including What Culture, from 12 different... I may have added that bit. WWE World taking place over 5 days at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Raw and SmackDown are said to take place in an MGM Resorts venue. So feel free to speculate on that one. Apparently $5 million was approved by the appropriate authorities for WWE to sponsor WrestleMania. They're also bringing their community champions program to that area. No word on the Sphere yet, though.
But also no word on NXT. Mm-hmm. Coincidence? Ask questions.
They are obviously running the Sphere for a UFC event in September, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So who knows? We live in hope.
Testing the Apex out in June. I can't remember the event.
I think it's the next NXT one. It's not. It's Breaking Dude. It's the one after that. It's NXT Battleground. You're grounded. Battlegrounded. But now you're a winner. Ding ding ding. I can't wait to go to Las Vegas.
No, me neither. That's partly why it's in this news video today, isn't it? But no, ultimately now, like we say this every year, there might indeed be people watching this that are making their holiday plans around WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The prospect of the various different MGM properties. You've got the Grand, where of course you see there's now Dynamite. This year's Double or Nothing will be back at the MGM venue there in 2019 for it as well.
As was Chris Cyborg.
Great venue for wrestling. The T-Mobile Arena, where Double or Nothing's been held previously, feels like the Raw and SmackDown destination choice, but I guess we'll see. And obviously everything is so concentrated in the Strip.
The Allegiant.
I don't know how WWE makes Vegas more WWE than it already is without slapping the branding all over it. But yes, we're going to get more and more information. We're all keeping our one eye on that big eye, the Sphere, aren't we? Someone's got to do something.
It's the best place in the world, Las Vegas.
Maybe, if WWE doesn't run the Sphere, maybe they can't. Maybe like the Collective's already got it down. Maybe like Effie's Big Gay Brunch, Bloodsport, Spring Break. Maybe they're just all going to happen at the Sphere. Maybe that's why.
Our live show's happening at the Sphere.
Yeah.
If you want to pre-order tickets for them, they're not available online yet. If you want to just stick some money in an envelope and post it to me, though, you can find our address online. Don't do that, obviously.
Don't do that, but if you were going, it'd be literally thousands.
But who knows? Maybe you can get pre-recorded messages from the members of What Culture instead to help us finance the trip.
Oh yeah, can we just do it? Go to Cameo, search for my name, search for his, soon enough you'll be able to have a good time. Put money
Some
in
people say for mine, it's happening again. That's all I can say for now.
Put money in our coffers so we can irresponsibly gamble it away.
Yes!
Right, moving on to back to AEW, should I say, and to Ricky Starks.
What is going on with Ricky?
Well, he doesn't know, in his own words. Quote, I don't know, I have no clue. This is from Ricky Starks speaking to WhatCulture.com.
What?
Breaking some news. The brilliant Andrew Pollard has been on with Ricky Starks. It's a full interview to be dropping on What Culture's YouTube channel any day now. And as usual, Pollard gets the scoops and the stories when he sits down with these guys. The magnificent Pollard sat down to speak to Absolute. There was a bunch of stuff they discussed. As I say, long form interviews coming your way any day now. But there was a couple of really interesting quotes about his current situation, his potential future. So I'm just going to read this verbatim from Pollard, who has transcribed this. You can read the full article at whatculture.com as well. It says, quote, "People ask me all the time about being absent from TV. I don't know. I have no clue. This isn't up to me. It does suck, obviously, not to be on TV, but the support and the people online and the people who send me message is very, very sweet and endearing and very encouraging from that standpoint. I didn't know that was, I'm trying to think, 6 matches this year. That's a small number, compared to what I was doing in the years prior." He goes on, "I just kind of stick to myself and I operate in the belief that my work will carry me through an obstacle, and I still believe that." He also added, because there was all the rumours that he was injured and he had to move to quash that himself.
Yeah.
As wrestlers do when these sort of stories grow and grow. And he added on top of that, he says, quote, "People would send me a text message or something like, 'Are you hurt? What's going on?' And he would reply, 'No, I'm not hurt. I don't know who's doing this.' So when I went to get my physical, people alluded saying, 'Well, he was there to get cleared.' No, bro, I was just there to get my balls checked and do my physical." That's it. That's all I was doing. I'm healthy, I'm great, I'm perfectly fine. I shouldn't have any type of questioning of, 'Well, are you really?' Bitch, I'm telling you, I'm not hurt. I don't know what more you want me to say." So he's very emphatically explaining that he's not injured. He doesn't know what's going on with his status. Again, we didn't want to lift any of those quotes out of context, and you can read more of that in the article. See it all for yourself when Ricky sits down with Pollard on the channel in upcoming days. But I just, from the outsider standpoint, from the viewer's standpoint, a much missed presence, and obviously the what we assume to be the end of his team with Big Bill as a result of...
He's sitting under the learning tree now,
Big Bill sitting under the learning tree,
Right.
yeah. So come back soon, Ricky Starks.
Learning how to win titles, like he already has in AEW, you mean? Yeah, I just hope for the best for Ricky Starks. I sense maybe he's eventually going to head to WWE. It feels like that's the way things are trending, obviously, especially with Cody and him being at the Rumble all that time ago and what have you. And I think it'd be a phenomenal place for him. But if he sticks around in AEW, I just hope they capitalise on him, because there was a period last year, or was it end of 2020, when he faced MJF and he didn't win, but then you were like, I can see them booking this, that he eventually comes back and does defeat MJF.
Kind of feeling like a made man in his feud with the punker, and then when Bryan stepped in, they had that incredible strap match. Like, here we are. This is that point, isn't it? That critical wrestler point. And then it didn't. The singles follow through wasn't really there afterwards.
Yeah, really looking forward to that interview from Pollard. I would have done it, but I would have just drooled all over my keyboard. I touched his back once when we were there at Wale Mania.
Yes.
I didn't wash my hand for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I met him briefly in Vegas. A
lovely man.
A lovely man for a guy that looks as good as he does and doesn't need to.
He should be a bellend. Yeah, if I look like that, I'd be a complete tosspot. But shout out to Ricky Starks. Best luck, and we'll keep you posted on any developments with him. But I hope he's back in the ring very, very soon. Let's talk about NXT, best wrestling show of the week, as I always say. A rather good show this week. We'll talk about it on the What Culture Wrestling podcast channel. Yeah. You can either watch it or just download it as a podcast wherever you get your podcast from.
Do both. That's why we're number one. We put a sticker on and pretend we are.
We'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to the Twitter questions in a second. But NXT obviously heading to the CW as part of a 5-year deal in October of 2024. The other thing that's part of their sports portfolio, of course, the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA, and Billy Corgan is open to a bit of a crossover.
I bet he is.
He spoke to multiple outlets, one of which was comicbook.com, saying, "I would love that," a crossover on the CW between NWA and NXT means. With NXT coming, we respect that. WWE is a huge, huge company. We've seen recently where they're reaching out to some independents. They worked recently, of course, with TNA. I would love to work with the WWE, but we are not sort of thinking about it in the sense like we are waiting for the phone to ring, but I would love to work with them. I've certainly interacted with them through the years, both before I was in wrestling and then, of course, now being in wrestling. They've always treated me great. I have nothing bad to say about them. They are a class organisation through and through as far as how they treat people like myself. My experience has been so positive, I have nothing but good feelings towards them. What do you reckon?
Well, I'm not surprised that he says that. I mean, we're an internet company. It's like I say, you know what, I am prepared to work with Google.
Yes.
I'll go out there and say it.
Yeah. If Mr. Beast wants to do a crossover, go on then.
I don't know, shooting his shot, right? Did you say the new deal on the CW starts in October?
Yes.
Well, that's a perfect time for them to share some Smashing Pumpkins, right?
Indeed.
So yeah, unsurprising from Billy. I can't see this happening But it is it's interesting and kind of gross actually that while like obviously AEW was broadening the net about like a mainstream organisation working with a load of other ones, like with WWE just being very WWE about it and going, nah, you're alright, we'll just stay on site.
Yeah.
Of all the places that they might, like they've done stuff with Bloodsport this year, of all the places they might reach out to, like the NWA, even that's a bit like, like would William Regal want to send Charlie Dempsey to so many places that you would also send him to the NWA?
Having said that, you know, they've got like fun characters, mafia bosses, business women, etc. in NXT. It wouldn't feel that out of place than like, okay, so mafia boss, businesswoman, I don't know, milkman, Sinister Minister who does coke on pay-per-view.
Do you think Corgan's trying to actually get his way into NXT with his like, this is your thing, a singer? Like he's just a lead singer of a world famous band.
Remember Gillian Hall? What about that?
In you come.
Yeah. I just love NXT and anything, any mad bollocks like that.
Yeah. You're right. If there was a fit at the moment, it kind of would be that. But I kind of see like NXT as like the happy, smiling, fun version of the alternate universe that the NWA occupies.
It's like that bus with the meme with one person. Anyway, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At What Culture WWE and X, of course, you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Mitchell Gillum. Mitchell, thank you for your question. Mitchell. Hey guys, hope you're well. I'm very good today. How about yourself?
Love Wednesdays.
I have a question. Do you think NXT's Heritage Cup rules matches could transition to the main roster? Realistically, it would be the closest thing they could get to a UFC-style match. Before you give your thoughts on it, I'm going to give a quick thought on this. I've got to be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the Heritage Cup until about 24 hours ago. Yeah. And suddenly, I think it is the best, and they should have Heritage Cup matches, and I suppose whoever is the Heritage Cup champion right now, I can't remember off the top of my head, should move on to the main roster and really be showcased in a big manner. Any recollections to who the champion is?
I can't recall who it is, but like maybe they should go on like 100-0 undefeated streak just to really get the legitimacy of the trophy over.
Come on, Tony D, get in!
More on the. We're trying to make this NXT podcast can't miss today, aren't we? This video.
I mean, it always is every week.
Indeed. To answer the question, no, I hate it. But
banning out the family, do it, innit?
It's great right now because our favourite character in the mix. I don't like the stipulation. I wonder if, like, gradually through force of will, people have started to enjoy it. I don't even think WWE like it.
No,
they plant this ad break and kill a round. Just like
out of 5, and they don't always go to 5. So it's
just don't book it. And then could be 5 rounds, could go either way. Well, just wrap it up early. Like I've never been convinced that they like this very, very convoluted thing that existed from NXT UK.
Yeah,
and has somehow like travelled.
It's quite fun down there, wasn't it? It was like, you know, Tyler Bate and people like that.
Like in terms of like weird things that could have just been left behind with NXT UK, I'd say the Heritage Cup and Gallus are 2 of them, and yet they have both seemed to exist on NXT normal.
I love the ending of last night's show.
We're back. Did you miss us? No. But aye, not for me. But I suppose anything is possible. It's a big old trophy, and
it's the biggest thing you can win in wrestling, in my opinion.
It sure is big,
both physically and also prestigious.
Mainly just physically.
Yeah.
If you like the stick, like let us know in the comments below. Maybe I would hate to think that I'm completely misreading the room on the Heritage Cup, but
I don't think anyone apart from me is like, let's go.
Yeah, you're into it now for this specific period, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Richard says, morning fellas, morning Rich. Do you think King and Queen of the Ring could benefit from having all of its matches on one pay-per-view, premium live event like they used to? Maybe even over 2 nights like WrestleMania, 1 for each King and Queen tournament, or just have the semis and the final on one night? Yeah, your thoughts on this?
I'm a old school purist at heart with these sort of things. I would love quarter semis finals as a single night thing. Well, I think I do the 2 night as well because then both tournaments are getting equal profile. For me, I just take it now. I just sort of accept it that it's part of this thing where, like in English football, we have the FA Cup and not like all them games have to take place in the same week. Yeah. You still have to win every round in order to get to the final and lift the trophy. But I miss the days of one night tournaments. They didn't draw that well, and that really turned Vince McMahon off them. But I just believe the struggle more. You've seen a guy come out there 3 times or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like I just love that idea of like here they come again. Randy Savage at WrestleMania 4 when he won the title, wearing different gear for his different matches and all that. Like I'd love that thing, but the match quality can suffer as well because the guys.
I think the balance is having the semis.
Maybe
on the pay-per-view because you have the unpredictability. You have 1, 2, 3, 6 matches minimum. King and Queen of the Ring matches. on there.
You could definitely run
You
both.
could even have a third place playoff if you really want to.
God, that'd be a sad match.
Yeah,
Wouldn't it?
it's a bit like when the World Cup has it and no one's really asked.
We won.
Even when England were in it, I was like, oh well.
Yeah. It's sad.
Love it now. But yeah, I do think you're right. I think necessarily as much as old school fans would be like, oh yeah, this is class, I think sometimes you need other stories going into it. So I think, yeah, that balance of like those 6 matches and maybe a couple of other big either grudge matches or title matches works the best.
This year's is one of the best compromises I can remember because it's just been well booked along the way. I'll remember
Really
this
good.
tournament as much for the process of it rather than just the grand final on the night.
I always have to mention King Xavier's amazing theme that never gets enough love.
And I can't
What a
remember.
waste that was. It was so good. Bow down.
Speaking of that tournament,
Mega Ran was that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Shout out to Mega Ran. Lovely bloke.
I can't remember who won the Queen of the Ring.
Oh, that was last time when it was King Xavier and it was Queen Zelina. Last question from Tully Television. Cheers for your question. Ironic, this Tully Television talking about AEW.
It's full circle.
Hello, legends. Today, an AEW question. Dynamite ratings show that Swerve is bringing in an audience, while some seem to be chasing the audience away, like Jericho, Copeland, and Mercedes. But they seem to be dropping the ball with Swerve. What is the solution?
To Swerve Strickland, I
It
think
feels bad because my immediate thought is just put the title on Ospreay because he's the biggest thing.
it's awkward. I think a lot of people feel like that at the moment. I'm of the opinion that it's like it came exactly one pay-per-view cycle too late. I was a big advocate of putting the title on him.
Done that a few times, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it's not a Swerve problem so much as a Tony Khan one in that we've seen a few babyface champions get the moment and then the follow-through was never... It's a hard job anyway.
Oh,
by
yeah,
the way.
yeah. There's traditionally it's always been.
Difficult job, but they've not really done as well with the follow-through as they have with that grand build for a babyface. The problem with Swerve is not for me a problem with Swerve, it's a problem with AEW, and I have a very simple answer. It's going to sound like a cop-out, but I promise you it's not. It's to go and read the latest article by our esteemed colleague Mike
Yes.
Cedric at whatculture.com. This is not an empty plug, it's a great bit of business.
Fascinating read.
You can find
that.
it on his Twitter and on our website as well. And it speaks about the thumbnail is everything is awesome with a picture of Adam Copeland, and it speaks to maybe like AEW's booking practices and how it's kind of harming things top down, and of course who else is at the top but Swerve Strickland. So a world champion not necessarily feeling like he's involved in the key storyline is a pretty bad look. And right now, who are you being asked to back as AEW's top babyface? Is it Swerve Strickland or is it All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan?
Yeah.
So he's already I know he's in the mix. I know the Elite have sent Christian in there as their guy and all that. So this is obviously going to play out. So I'm going to let that play out. But I think there's bigger problems philosophically with an AEW than just the Swerve.
Surprise, I'm going to be completely hypocritical on this news yet again. Having said earlier on, I don't really understand or care about ratings. The Rot had set in a long time before Swerve became champion. Ratings for AEW's in the total. Yeah, it's in the top 3, but it's not doing the numbers that it used to do.
They're about 100,000 down a year in viewership for all that.
It's bad. And I'm not saying that, WB doing like, get rid of that, because I think it's always exceeded their expectations. But I think you do have to admit, even if you're the most staunch AEW fan, the product is colder than arguably it's ever been.
Yeah.
Despite doing these amazing, big, bombastic things, and the ratings bear that out. I think the solution is 2 words for Swerve Strickland: Rick Ross. You're a big motherfucker. Let's get him back. He's lost everyone. Nana's been his ass kicked, so he could come back, obviously. But and everyone else in Mogul Embassy or affiliates, whatever they're bloody called, left him. But Rick Ross has never come back and address the accusations.
Does this fold Keith Lee back into Swerve
Oh
Strickland?
yeah!
Finally,
They're going to do the blow-off match. 3 years in the making.
it's going to save the business.
But I do hope for the best for Swerve because he's a really nice man. Another person we met that weekend at Wale Mania. What a night that was!
Incredible.
And
too good for us.
But yeah, and B. I don't want this to just be like, as Sidge says, a sort of second transitional champion after Samoa Joe, just so we can get the title on Ospreay. Yes, it's probably going to be great, and arguably business may pick up when you put the title on Will Ospreay post All In, one would assume. But in the interim, Swerve's great, and he's a proven draw. I just think
right guy, wrong time for me. Swerve.
Stop putting crap on your television, and by that I mean the learning tree.
Put good stuff on your telly, such as this video. Right here. And we'll see you soon, will we?
Yeah, see you tomorrow.